In this example, we're going to make one of these. It's a faceplate for a 4-channel stepper motor driver. This is an aluminum plate with a series of holes for switches, indicators, connectors, and a chassis mount. It also features some engraved text and a logo. In this drawing, I've taken measurements of all the important features, so we'll have everything we need to make tool paths to cut this on the CNC. One note about these motor connectors: at first glance, they appear to be round, but looking more closely, they have an anti-rotation feature where the thread diameter is 0.611 inches, but the threads end along the sides and the diameter there is 0.575 inches. Here we are in Knoll Toolpath Studio. I'm going to be working in inches for this project, but that's a user preference you can change at any time. We'll go to the app preferences and set some default values. I'm going to be using an 1/8 inch cutter, and the plate I'm cutting is 0.085 inches thick, so I'll make that the default depth. Let's set up a stock preview. It's not strictly necessary, it does not generate any G-code, but it helps me visualize what I'm doing. The plate is 2 inches by 10 inches, and I'm going to set the origin to be at the left edge of the plate and centered vertically. Next, I'm going to route out the step and direction connector. The left edge is at 1.6 inches, and the right edge is at 3.22 inches. The top is at minus 0.8, and the bottom is at minus 0.62. I'm going to do a rough and finish pass, and then we're going to clear the center. Next, we're going to add the first motor connector. This will be a circular pocket that's 0.575 inches in diameter. I'll be doing rough and finish passes as well as clearing the center. X position will be 4.5 inches and the Y coordinate will be minus 0.35. Let's name that channel 1 connector hole. Let's add an arc to clear the threads. The X and Y coordinates will be the same, but the diameter will be 0.611. Because the arc specifies the center line, let's subtract out the cutter diameter, and let's turn off the finish pass. I'm happy to make this cut in a single pass, so I'll set the depth per pass to 0.1 to make sure this is a single full cut depth. I can drag the start and end points visually, but I took some measurements earlier and I know the right values to use here. The start angle should be 22 degrees and the end should be 158. Let's name that channel 1 top arc. We'll duplicate that, renaming it channel 1 bottom arc, and set the start angle to 202 and the end angle to 338. And that completes our connector hole. I'll duplicate that 3 times, just changing the X coordinate for the other connector positions, and I'll do the same for the arcs. And that completes the routing. I can now save this as my routing. All right, let's do the holes. Because I have all the hole locations on my drawing, I'm going to enter them as a hole list. The holes will be drilled in the order that they are in the list, so I'm going to enter them that way. I'm going to use a stub drill and just make spotting marks since I have several different diameters I need to hit. That's all pretty easy to do on the drill press once I have an accurately marked start. And I'm only going to make them 30 thou deep. Okay, that's the drilling. Only visible operations are exported, so let's hide the routing operations and then save that as the holes. Okay, now for the engraving. Let's start with the logo. I have that as an SVG file. Let's make it about 2.2 inches wide. The scale of about 0.55 is about right. X should be 0.5 and Y should be 0.8. Depth will be 10 thou. Next, I'll add in the power label using the built-in single-stroke font. Let's type in the text. X will be 0.8 and Y will be 0.2. Make the tracking 0.3. Height should be 0.1 inches. I'll rename this channel label, and I'll enter the text as channels 1 to 4. I'll do the same for the other plain text labels. Lastly, I'm going to add the bigger channel labels. I'm going to use SVG files for those. I'll duplicate this 3 more times, offsetting the x-coordinate and swapping in the other SVG numbers. And that's it. Let's export that as the engraving. Here's the finished piece. I've drilled the holes, deburred, and hit it with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. And there you go.